offense. In these times when nothing is stable, not economies, not health, not families, nothing, someone standing firm will likely get noticed. People might say, why are you so confident when job losses are at an all-time high? Why are you calm when there are wars and rumors of wars? What makes you sure when everyone else is not? These are questions that come when you shod our feet with the gospel of peace. Like when you calm and everybody else is having anxiety attacks and stuff like that, that's going around a lot with younger people, is anxiety. They see stuff on the news and they don't know how to handle it or process it yet. Especially, not only are they physically, because of their age, immature, haven't grown up yet, but not especially not spiritually, because they don't even know Christ yet. So a lot of young people, teenagers, adults really as well, are suffering from anxiety attacks and different things like that. And some, maybe some people in here have as well. So it's not saying that it might not happen, but we know how to handle that and deal with that with better understanding. Because when you have understanding, you fear less. When you have understanding, you know that God has our best interests at hand, at heart. And so when we know that, then we don't worry. Because all of the different anxieties and different things where we worry, all that worry is based off of fear. And we know, like we talked about earlier, that God hasn't given us the spirit of fear. I like to also add with that fear is that it's okay to be scared at times. The spirit of fear is a non-stop in that spirit of fear where we're always scared. We can't get out of it. The reason why I say it's okay to be scared sometimes is because we can take that scared or that feeling of nervousness and turn it around into courage. So if there weren't any feelings of being scared, then we wouldn't have courage, because we would always walk around with courage. It wouldn't be. I mean, so when you think of fear or think of something to be scared, like always flip it and think, okay, well, God gave me courage. So because it's a sin to be a coward, because a coward, like we talked about last week, a coward is a person who knows the truth but chooses to kind of sit back and run away and be scared when you know the choice to make. And it talks about that in the scripture. And so it's important that we understand that if we feel any type of fear, God hasn't given us a spirit of fear. If we get scared, then we know that we can flip that around with understanding. We'll talk about that here a little later, that God will take care of us. God is there, and with that will come peace. And we'll get to that here in just a second. And so, almost 5. Y'all ain't got to turn back there, but I'm just going to read it and put some more emphasis on it as well. And that's a good job, Keith, because I'm telling you, when this resonates, this is like what Christians go and read other people. And I've seen Christians read this one scripture and people just break down in the middle of the street crying out to God, wanting to be saved, because they had never heard this before. Like they had never knew that we live in a place where God that loved us so much would do something like this for us. And so for while we were still weak at the right time, Christ died for the ungodly. In the other version, it says, while we were yet sinners, for one will scarcely die for a righteous person, though perhaps for a good person one would dare even to die. So if they're good, somebody may think about dying for them, but if they're pretty good, then a couple people may. But not for a sinner. This hadn't even been heard of. Not especially not back in that day. Like, dying for a sinner? Like, no, huh? But God shows his love for us in that while we were still sinners, Christ died for us. Since therefore we have now been justified by his blood. We'll talk about that in just a second. Much more shall we be saved by him from the wrath of God. Y'all need to believe that. Therefore, and remember, therefore means that after having heard all of what you just heard, listen to this. We have now been justified by his blood. Much more shall we be saved by him from the wrath of God. For if while we were enemies, we were reconciled to God by the death of his son, much more now that we are reconciled shall we be saved by his life. Now, if God did this while we were yet sinners, how much more do you think that He gonna take care of you while you're a child of His? Oh, like I'm telling you, like that's the shouting part right there. That's where you start to shout at when you really get a good understanding of that. Like, my God did this while I was sinning. How much more will He take care of me while I'm going through this little situation? Like, how much more will He take care of my family that I know that He did this before I even knew Him. Like, that right there is like, I'm telling you, it's mind-blowing. It's so awesome. It's almost like it's too good to be true. Matter of fact, that's the gospel translated into Greek is a special word. That word that we looked at on the other scripture, the euangelium, that actually is a special word for good news. It's not the normal good news. It's different languages have different definitions and different words that mean different things. Like love is like a whole bunch of different words in the Greek. This word is good news, but it's translated good news that is too good to be true. So it's like a special good news. It stands out even more. And so that's amazing. It's so good. People are gonna tell you probably that it's a lie, but it's all. And I'm telling you, when you know it, go ahead. Oh, see that? See that? I'm telling you, when you start thinking about that, it's something that just be up in you. You can't even stop. Like, yes, like, hallelujah, thank you, Lord. Like, man, now I can see clearer and clearer that, God, you love me and you are working on me and using me. So continue to use me and continue to shine your light on your truth. This is just us learning more about Him. He already did all these things. We just are learning them. And as we go, we're growing and maturing. I'm going to tell you how all of this is starting to work in us just by us hearing it. So